Guys, happy Tuesday. It is the 28th of July, and this is your daily market outlook for today. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone had an amazing start to the week yesterday. This is the chart analysis, and I'm excited to bring it to you as always. But before we get into it, understand that the content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing shared in my videos should be considered financial, investment, or trading advice. Understand that trading and investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research for making any financial decisions. Pardon me. Also understand that any past performances discussed does not guarantee future results. You are responsible, as always, guys, for your own financial decisions. So today, looking at the news, Tuesday we have no red folder at all until tomorrow, which will be Fed funds, FOMC tomorrow, as you guys can see. So again, I don't expect too much volume today in the markets. Again, obviously we could, but I don't just right now, just simply because of tomorrow's news event. So a bit interesting to see what does happen. But yeah, today we literally have orange folder news for the US dollar at 3 p.m. Now, going into the dollar, let's have a look at what's going on and what we can discuss. As I talked about on yesterday's daily market outlook, if you look at the internal at this moment in time, everything is working out as it should. You can see that from here, obviously we failed to come into this demand area here. So we didn't get that reach in, and the market obviously started to go bullish. You can see we went bullish. We came into this supply, which was here, and the market failed to go and create a new lower low, as you guys can see. So then what happened when we came into that supply? Well, what happened is market then give us a pullback, and we've stayed bullish since. Give us another pullback, and we've stayed bullish since. So the internal is bullish at this moment in time, and all I'm following is I'm looking at every pullback and then the expansion, every pullback and then the expansion. And as you guys can see, you can see these candles are the daily demand candles that are in control at this moment in time. You can see that when we come into this one, we obviously had this bullish candle away. We came obviously back, failed to come in this Friday candle, created that liquidity. Same here, we failed to come in on this one. Then Monday open, we'd obviously dipped into that demand and then we started to move away. So I'm still expecting obviously the bullishness to just carry on. If we look at the 4 hour, the only wait, just quickly on the day, the only thing that I can obviously keep an eye on is the fact that if we was to go bearish, obviously it would be from this supply area again. Now looking at for one, this daily structure, you can see we are extremely bullish. This is our big daily range from this higher low to this higher high. So at this moment in time, we've had a pullback, and naturally you start thinking, okay, after the pullback, we're going to go and create a higher high. So that is my obviously first thought. But then you also just got to prepare yourself for the fact that we reacted from a daily supply, um, and obviously market could go bearish from here. But the bulls is what takes priority. Now, looking at the four, what can we currently see? Well, from the 4 hour, we can currently see the fact that, again, you can see this beautiful internal 4 hour structure that's going on. We have just reached this 4 hour supply. So, for me personally, if we go bearish from the supply, it will only, for me, it will only be for short term to a minimum of this 4 hour demand. And then when we get into that 4 hour demand, I expect if demand is going to stay in control to go and create a new higher high from here. So that is what I'm expecting. Um, if that happens, obviously we won't know until it does. But if the internal goes bearish, again, you can play the internal structure on the 1 hour bearish with the major pairs, obviously going bullish. But I would just be aware of the fact that this is our next 4 hour demand area. This is the structure that we have to focus on. If we break this low here from a 4 hour, so let's say market reacts on this supply that we have, and we break this 4 hour, then it'll be 4 hour supplies in control. now we need to look for shorts. So hopefully that makes sense. But until we break that low and break the structure that we've got going on, demand is in control. Bulls is in control. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now, looking at your USD, nothing's changed since yesterday in regards to the daily. On obviously yesterday's market outlook, you can see this daily supply is exactly where markets came back into and obviously carrying on. I'm expecting to take this low eventually if the dollar obviously stays bullish. So let's see what we can potentially look for. Well, you can see that the internal structure of the daily, which is this 4 hour, is obviously pretty clean, should we say? Supply, and our next supply is here. So as I mentioned yesterday, nothing's changed as much. I'm just expecting market to eventually build up liquidity here and then get that market to come into this 4 hour supply area, fill in that imbalance that we left, and then go and create that new lower low. So pretty simple to understand for your USD. I'm just looking left at this moment in time from the 4 hour to see if I can see something that lines up with the fact that we're coming into this 4 hour supply, and I can't at this moment. Again, if we go to the one, maybe we can, but we'll have to dig a little bit. Did that 1 hour get touched here? Yeah, see that started at 1 hour imbalance and that 1 hour demand already got met here. We came in. So yeah, at this moment in time, for me, I can't see nothing from a 4 hour and a 1 hour in regards to what aligns with the dollar. Obviously, if dollar does go bearish for the short term, euros should go bullish for the short term as well into this supply. But for me, I can't see anything in order for me to participate apart from the fact that we took liquidity. So yeah, well, pretty easy to understand. Nothing's changed since yesterday. The Great British Pound US dollar, let's have a look at what she's doing. So this aligns a little bit more, I guess, with the dollar. The one thing that I can obviously see at this moment in time is yesterday we talked about this supply, the fact that market came back, tapped into that supply, and now we got this move away. We have reached into this daily demand area. So if we was to go bearish on the dollar, this is where we would go bullish on GBP USD. Now, first thing I'm going to notice quickly is we obviously had this pullback and then bearishness again. So as you guys should be able to see, we have that daily supply area here, and we've just missed it. So if you zoom in quite closely, you can see that from this wick to this wick, we have a little gap. So I do believe that market should come again into this supply. Pretty similar to how this here. Can you see how we have this bearishness down? We have the next day the candle almost comes into that supply but doesn't. And then the next Monday candle yesterday obviously goes above that previous day's high, fills in the rest of that imbalance, uses it as liquidity, taps into the daily supply, and then moves away. So I'm expecting that. And that would align perfectly with the 4 hour. Because if you look at the four, you can see that obviously we had market move down, we come back into that supply, market move down again, break this low. And now I'm expecting again, same scenario, come into this supply and then get that shift away and carry on downwards. And that would obviously be perfect with what we're looking for with the US dollar. Now, again, we have a daily demand. I'm going to look left and see what I can see. And the first thing I can see at this moment in time is, if you look at this scenario here, we can see that market has reached this 4 hour demand. Now, this aligns with the dollar being in that 4 hour supply. So if the 4 hour obviously goes bearish, you could see short-term bulls from here. But one thing I want you guys to just make sure is the structure from the 4 is bearish. So if you go bulls from here, it will only be a stronger analysis when we break above this high, because then the 4 hour's gone from bearish to what? Bullish. And then you can start to look for the bulls long term. But short term, if it meets your trading plan, you can obviously look for that structure into this supply and then make a decision from when it gets to the supply, because I expect this supply to stay stuck and go and create a new lower low. So just make sure that you guys are aware of that and understanding of that as well. NZUSD, let's see what she's doing. The daily, you can pretty much see we're inside that daily demand after obviously staying here for a few days now. As I talked about yesterday, um, we had obviously Thursday's big candle into that demand. This Friday's candle failed to obviously go and fill in the rest of that imbalance. We created the liquidity with this high. And then yesterday's Monday candle, exactly what I said, will come up. Should obviously fill in the rest of that imbalance, and then obviously it finished bearish. So I'm expecting, like I said, the dollar to obviously carry on bullish long term. So I'm expecting the major pairs to carry on bearish. And this obviously aligns perfectly at this moment in time, it to just carry on shorting. Now, if I go to the four, what can I see? Well, we haven't reached this obviously for our demand just yet. To obviously align with potential short-term longs because of what we just talked about. But one thing I can see is we obviously have this 4-hour supply area still. We have the imbalance just below that. It's not the cleanest. I think EU and GU, especially GU, is a lot cleaner looking than NZUSD because we haven't broke this low. Um, but I do expect if market does come up, to again just come into this supply and then go and create that new, pardon me, lower low. I can also notice the fact that we have pretty much created them equal lows here, which is liquidity. So equal lows, liquidity, easy target for potential shorts as a potential target for the shorts from this supply if we get that. So yeah, hopefully you guys are seeing this as well. AUD USD, let's see what is going on. I mean, I'm gonna just try and make this a little bit more cleaner, just so it's better on the eyes. Um, Daily time frame for AUD USD. Let's have a look. So you can see pretty much we obviously had the reaction from this supply. It's been a lot slower, but we are getting that bearishness down. We had this candle here, which was Thursday's candle, and then Friday and Monday's candles come into that supply, and now we're starting to get some bearishness away. So hopefully that's telling us again what we want to see. We want to see that bearishness carry on. If I'm looking at AUD USD from this supply, it's been perfect. Since we've obviously had this move away, my main thought is if you look at this Tuesday candle, you can see absolutely spot on. I am interested in seeing if market can come back, fill in this gap, the imbalance that we have, and then go and create that new lower low. So that is my 4-hour supply that I am keeping my eye on for AUD USD. Nothing more really to talk about. Maybe if we go to the one, we might see something a bit different. You can obviously see we have this 1-hour demand area, which is unmitigated. This little consolidation area, you can do it from the start of that imbalance actually. So there is a 1-hour demand area there, filling that imbalance. So again, if we get short-term shorts from here, then you could obviously potentially look for the short-term longs from this for 1-hour demand. But again, same scenario as you guys are probably getting a gist of. If it's short term, it would just be to get till we get to this supply area, and then priority would be for that 4-hour trend to carry on, unless we obviously come above this supply and we look like we're going bullish. USD CAD, let's have a look. So USD CAD. We obviously have reached into the daily supply area. So daily supply area, are we going to go bearish? Well, at this moment in time, all we're focused on is the fact that we have bullishness right now. One thing you can see is from this yesterday's candle. If I just replay this quickly, yesterday's candle obviously finished. And then what's happened is from the start of this potential imbalance, what market did on next candle is from the supply dipped in. Let me just play it forward. dipped in today, and now it seems like it could go bullish. So if we look at the four, we can see that for me, the 4 hour supply area is up here. So obviously, we're not quite reached into a preferred supply area in which I like. But the internal is obviously bullish. Now, same as yesterday, I still want to see this demand area met. So I still want to see market structure do what it's doing, slowing down, creating liquidity, and then eventually come back down into this area and then go and create that new 4 hour higher high. Same as the US dollar. Exact same. So that is what I'm waiting for. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we're not there just yet, but keep an eye out on this area for sure. USD CHF, again, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. The daily, if you look, we're in obviously no man's land. To be honest with you, because everything's pretty corrective from what I've seen here. If you look at the four, you can see that the 4 hours just been extremely bullish. I obviously wanted to see this demand area here. Let me just zoom in. This demand area here met. We have a lot of imbalance to fill. So my priority still is for market to eventually come into this demand and then carry on. I'm hoping that if you look at this scenario, how market has this demand, we obviously just build up a load of liquidity and make people make mistakes in the 1 hour. Then it just obviously comes back and carries on. So I'm hoping to see something like that. And you can watch that over and over again. Look, we have these 4 hour candles slowly coming up. Then market decides to come back and then carry on. So let's see if we get that with USD CHF. Pretty simple analysis. Hopefully you guys can see that clear. And then USD Japanese yen, if we look at the daily, ideally I would have liked to, and I still would like to see this demand area met. So I'm not ruling out the fact that we could get a pullback into this demand of the daily, take out this low, fill in this imbalance, and then obviously carry on. I'm definitely not ruling that out. Let me see what this looks like on this daily. This daily demand looks like on the 4 hour. Okay, so in order for us to reach this daily demand, we would need to obviously have a significant drop off, and that drop off for me would be obviously from the supply area in which the market is slowing down right now. So if the dollar does go bearish, then it will be because of this area of supply that we're in right now. But again, just understand that we are bullish. So I'm not saying that, USD Japanese yen is going to be bearish, but if we do go get short-term bearish, I will be looking at coming into this 4 hour demand area. Let me just remove this actually again. And filling in the imbalance that we left here. And then potentially going creating that new higher high. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. But understand that we don't have to come in here to go bullish. If you look at how corrective this is at this moment in time, we could just carry on, bullish from here. It could just carry on. But yeah, again, this I'm not really interested in from a 4 hour. If you go into the one, you could probably see something a little bit different. Like, for instance, the fact that we have this 1 hour demand area here. So again, if the dollar carries on bullish, one thing I can see, this is textbook what I teach in my course. We have took out Asian low. This is one of my Asian entry models that we talk about. Took out Asian low. So seek liquidity. Had obviously this beautiful institutional candle. Now we've got this little imbalance from this wick to this wick left. So if it was to carry on bullish, I would expect market to dip into this demand and then go and carry on from here. But again, let's see how it plays out for today with, of course, the US dollar as well. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. I appreciate every single person who tunes in. Again, make sure to drop a like on this video. Make sure to have your notifications turned on so that you're notified about these uploads. But yeah, man, I will see you tomorrow. Take care and God bless.